right, perfect. All right, everybody, welcome to Foundations of Fitness. My name is Ken Huron, and I'll be taking you through this class today. Now, this is going to be a 30-minute class. The one thing we're working on here is that what we just called it, Foundations of Fitness. Now, when we talk about fitness in an overall or physical fitness of the body, we're looking at a few things. We're looking at flexibility. This is how flexible we are, how much our body can move around. Then we're going to look at coordination. Coordination is how well our movement patterns are, how well we move through space, right? Then we're going to look at endurance. Endurance is how long we can do that for, right? This is that kind of that cardiovascular aspect. And then the last thing we look at is strength. Strength is resistance training. How much can we push against resistance? How much can we stand against resistance? And gravity is part of that resistance. So for today, you don't need anything but a mat and maybe a chair if you need a chair, if you have any balance issues or if you had any issues in the past with knees, hips, things like that. You may want a chair for a couple of these exercises, as that may be better for your balance and coordination. Now, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to put together some movements and exercises today that are going to talk about the foundational muscle groups, the foundational body, if you will. We're going to try to work from the core out. All right. So we're going to start on the ground. Now, if you have any issues on the ground, getting down there, getting back up, I'll show you some ways that we can do these without being on the ground as well. So don't worry. This is for everybody. And if you've done fitness for a while and you're just looking for something different, this is for you as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start out on the ground on our back. Now, if you're not good on the ground, so I'll bounce back and forth, so bear with me. If you're not good on the ground, I'm going to have you have that seat in the chair and sitting upright just like that. All right, but for the folks that are going to get on the ground with me here, let's go ahead and start here. The first thing we want to work on is that core. We want to start from the midsection, and we want to work on our ability to resist gravity and our ability to hold our own body weight up. These are going to be called hip engagement with crossover. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your knees and just lift them off the ground. Now, if this is difficult, just lift one off the ground so that you feel that engagement a little bit. Second thing we're going to try to do is try to go belly to spine. So you have a belly button right here. I want you to imagine that there's something under your lower back that pulls that belly button down to get rid of that space between your lower back. Now, if you're able to do two, that's great. So we're holding that engagement. Now what I want you to do is holding that engagement. I want you to take some deep breaths. I want you to take 4 or 5 deep breaths without letting that lower back come off the ground. If you are seated for me, what you're going to do is the same thing. You're going to get into that belly to spine. Now the belly to spine pull is in the back of the chair. So you're going to pull that belly to spine in the chair, tightening right there. And then you're going to slightly pick your feet off the ground. Okay? Those are our 2 movements. All right, so everybody's breathing. Everybody's keeping that going. Now, secondary, I said engagement and rotation. So let's bring those hands out to the side. If you have both legs up, we've got that engagement. On that exhale, I want you to just let these knees drop over to the left side. From there, you're going to take your hand, touch it to the other hand, rotate it back, and then you're going to engage those abdominals, bring them all the way back over. Now, if you're only able to get one leg up, right, then what I want you to do is keep your feet down, rotate the legs with the feet touching. Same thing, rotate the feet with the legs touching. Now, if you're rotating with the legs in the air and your legs drop like this, that's not going to be helpful. That's going to pull on your lower back. So make sure the knees stay into the chest and we rotate straight across. And if you're in the chair, I'm coming to you. Keep doing those rotations for me if you're on the ground. If you're in the chair, all we're going to do, nice and tall, we're pulling that belly to spine, we're picking the feet up, we're just going to swing them and swing them. This is going to get our hip flexors going. This is going to get our rotational muscles going. And then the secondary for that, if you're in the chair, is we're going to swing. Hands are here. I just want you to switch your body. So your hands go to this side, then you put your feet down, and then you go the other way. All right, so we can still do that rotation while we're in that chair. Keep going on those rotations if you're still there. We got a couple more of those rotations to go. Sure, I'm on the right. All right, I'll do a couple with you here. We rotate over. Hands are here. We come back. Pulling it over. A little pause at the middle, and then come all the way. Good. Now, the head can come off the ground a little bit, right? It can come off a little bit. It depends on your flexibility in the neck. What we're looking for here is that rotation in the trunk, opening up that flexibility. Excellent job. All right. So we've done the mat work. We can come up from there. We're going to go into the calves next. So we worked on there. We opened up some hip flexor. We opened up some chest and some back. Next, we want to look at the calves. Now, if you have a wall, you can use a wall. You can use a chair on this as well. I'll show you the way you don't have to use a chair or a wall as well. So we're going to keep going with our different modifications. So for this one, we're going to look at what we call a calf stretch. So everybody stretch the calf like this, but we're going to do an active calf stretch. So this means that we're going to take this foot, we're going to push up, and then we're going to push our butt back to feel that calf stretch out. So we push up, and then we push back. That's using the chair or the wall. If you want to go a little more advanced, you can actually put the hands down. Now you would bring the other leg on top of it. You push back with the hips and reach up. Push back with the hips, reach up. Let's go ahead now, start on that right side. So the right leg's back. If you're on the ground with me, we're pushing down and we're shifting up. 1, good. 2, 3. If you're in that chair, we're right here. We're just pushing up. 1, 2, good. Let's do a few more here. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Let's switch the side. So now the other leg goes. If we're on the chair, pushing up, pushing back. If we're coming to the ground, we get that right leg over now, pushing that hips back. Up we go. 2. Good pushes on those calves. You'd be surprised how important your calves are. They are attached to your Achilles. They're attached to your heel bones. A lot of problems from plantar fasciitis, from knee problems, come from tight calves, tight Achilles. So these are very important to use. All right, very good. We're finished with those calves. What do we got next? Okay. Next up, again, we'll use either balance on this one or we won't use balance. It's going to be up to you. You can either use a chair, you can use a wall, or a solid table. Remember, when using chairs, folks, wheelchairs don't work. You really need a solid chair. If you don't have a solid chair, that wheelchair's really got to be pushed up against the wall and make sure it's not moving. Okay. So for this one, it's called an inverted hamstring. Some folks call it a bird dip. A lot of different names for it. So if you're against the wall or you have the hand here, what we're looking for, one version is going to be, we're trying to reach down to the ground, but my heel is trying to reach to the sky. So right, they're going in opposite directions. Slight bend in this planted leg. We don't want to lock it out. We never want to lock out the knees, but it looks almost straight. And then we're coming back up. If we're using balance, try not to let this foot touch. Just let it kind of hover right here. We reach down and back up. Now, if this is too much, you can put the wall or the chair in front of you and just step back, bring it up. Step back. This will be a little bit more bend in this front knee. The idea both ways is that we're hip hinging. That's what we're trying to focus on, that hip hinge. All right, let's go ahead and stay on that one side. So if you're here, start myself at 4 here. 5, good. Excellent. All right, so now we got the other side. So we always, if we're holding on to something, we want to turn around completely because we want the planted leg to be on the inside. When the moving leg goes on the inside, we tend to jerk a little bit more our body. It's not as effective. So we want that planted leg on the inside. Let's go to the other side. Now, if you're using the weight on the front, you don't have to turn around, obviously. The wall is only in one place. But if you're using sides, just go ahead and turn around. Reaching there. You should feel this in the planted leg. You should feel it in the back of the hamstring, or that's the back of your thigh. Hamstring connected to that calf through the knee joint. Another important muscle group that, when tight, tends to have a lot of problems on the lower back. So we want to make sure our hamstrings are nice and loose. And what we're doing here is, what the exercise is called, we're called inverting that hamstring. Very good. Let's go ahead and shake those out. The goal here is we're going to try to go through these one more time at the end. So you've got them down. Just kind of really focus on the actual exercise right now. All right, so we've got lateral lunges coming up next. Now, people hear lunge, they get worried. My knees are bad. I don't like lunges. This one's safe, I promise. It's going to be good for the knees. It's going to be okay. We just have to do it correctly. And that's what I'm here for today. So I'm going to put the chair out eventually to show you, but I want to show you what we're looking for. Find a line, right? It could be the edge of the mat. It could be sometimes floor seams have a line. What you're going to do is just step to the side on that same line. And you're going to step about 4 or 5 feet apart, right? It's just a nice, good step. And if you're not comfortable with that, just do a small step in the very beginning. Well, now you're at that step. All I'm asking you to do now is if there's a wall behind you or anything behind you, try to push your butt towards that spot and then come back up. We're going to test out just from this position right now. All I want you to do is kind of sit into the leg that you stepped out towards. But big thing here, folks, my knee does not go side to side. It goes straight down, right? I'm doing the wrong instruction. So it goes straight down, but it doesn't go in front of my toe. So that's where we stay safe. And we don't have to go super low. We can just go to here and just a nice and easy drop. All right, that's what we're looking for. So we practice that a little bit. If you need balance, you could stand in front of a wall. You can hold on to this chair, same thing. And I just use that for my balance piece. All right, so now we're going to do them together. We're going to do 5 on the right, 5 on the left. So hands are straight out or here or on the hips, wherever you feel comfortable. Let's step, sit into it. 1, very good. Let's go all one side. 2, it's usually easier that way. We're trying to push our butt back. 3, excellent. 4, one more here. And 5, good. Let's go ahead and go the other side. So step in here, straight out 1, very good. 2, 3. Now, if you feel your knees in this one, it could mean that your foot is turned and you're going this way. That's going to put pressure on the knee. We want to make sure the feet and the knees are in one line. Very good on those. Lateral lunges. Again, use the balance when you need it. Okay, we're going back down to the mat one more time. If you don't want to go back to the mat, give me a second. I'll be right back for you. Have that chair ready. Now, for this next one, we're going to be doing planks. Everybody loves planks, right? We hear all about planks. Planks are our ability to resist gravity from a core perspective, right? So if we're in this position right here, if I can hold this body up, gravity's pushing me down, the weight of my body wants me to go to the ground, I have to be able to do exactly what we did on our backs, just the opposite way. Remember that belly to spine? I want you to think of doing the exact same thing. Forearms are here. I get out in this straight thing. I'm going to squeeze that belly to spine. Now I'm going to squeeze my glutes, and I'm going to hold that position. Now, a bit of a fun fact with planks. Everybody thinks you got to be this perfect straight line. That is optimal, but that's not exactly what you have to start with. The only thing we don't want is this sagging. We can be a little higher. I'm okay with a little peak as long as you're feeling your glutes and your abdominals work. Now you're going to feel a little shoulder work as well because we're trying to stabilize everything. Now, if you can't do the full plank, we can go to the knees and we can do the same thing, pulling through that belly to spine and the knees. And now, finally, if you're not on the ground, you can have the hands right over that chair and do the same thing. It just makes sure we're not here. We're going to be nice and straight. We're going to be tightening through the core. You can even do this against a wall. The higher you go, the easier it gets. The lower we go, the harder it gets. Okay, 4 planks. We're just going to look at holding one for about 15 seconds here. So everybody find their position. Find where you feel you're good at. Get into that plank. Hold that plank. Now, take nice, slow, deep breaths. Inhale, exhale while you're squeezing through the belly. Squeezing the glutes, holding nice and strong. Excellent. And we're just starting to feel that little shake maybe. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're perfect planker. 3, 2, and 1. Drop that down. Excellent, excellent job. Plank is a very good exercise when done correctly. A lot of folks try to be so straight that they end up with that small curve in the back, start putting gravity pressure right in that lower back. So be aware of that. If you feel your back at all when you're doing plank, it's wrong. I promise you it's wrong. So make sure you're feeling your glutes, your abdominals, maybe some shoulders. That's what we're looking for. Okay, we've got 2 more, promise, 2 more, and then we'll be done. Next one, got a couple different variations. Again, if you need a chair for balance or a wall for balance, go ahead and use that. We're going to be in this position, so start straight, and all we're gonna do is step out. Now, it's called a reverse step back with twist. You can also increase this into a reverse lunge. We're not gonna get there today. But what we're looking for is that we step out and we rotate towards the leg that stepped out, and then we rotate the other direction, and then we step back in. All right, so let's do this one with me. If you need that balance, you would just have that chair like right here, step, just use one hand, come across, and then come back. All right, let's go ahead and do that side. So we step back, rotate, rotate, 1. And now if balance is an issue again, just do a smaller step, rotate, rotate, 2. Right, we're stepping, rotate, 3, 2 more, 4, excellent, 5. Let's go ahead and do the other side. We're stepping back, rotate, rotate, 1, rotate, 2, 3. And again, if I wanted to make this more advanced, I would just drop into a reverse lunge. We don't have to do that one yet. Last one, reverse lunge. We feel it when we twist in the psoas. The psoas are very important. These are the muscles that shorten when we're sitting all day. What happens is they shorten, and then we stand up, we say, hey, we want to go. They re-shorten. They pull the hips like this, and they start yanking on the lower back. Big, big part of our ability to be upright animals is to do psoas work. Okay, last but not least, 2 different versions here. One is if you have knee trouble, you're worried about balance, this is going to be what we call a chair squat to reach. So our hands are up. I'll start this one and then we'll go to the standing version. We're just going to reach to the toes, reach our hands up, squeeze our shoulder blades back, try to stand, and then have a seat, reach down. Now, if you're really worried about the balance, just do one arm up so that one hand's always here to give you that feeling of balance, and then just switch the hand. That's one version. Try that out if you're doing it from the chair. If you're doing it from a standing position, it's the same thing, we're just standing, right? Hands are here, reach to the toes, straight legs, then do a semi-squat here, little squat, hands up, we come through. This is everything. We're squeezing, we're getting our neck, our shoulders, our shoulder blades, our lats. Then when we reach down, we get our hips, glutes, calves. Then we sit in, we get our psoas, we got our glute medius, a little bit more hamstring work, and then we go through it. Let's try 3 of these before we do everything all together. Here we go. So right here, we're reaching down, sitting in. We got 1. Good, reaching down. 2, reaching down, sitting in, and 3. All right, so we went through our exercises. Now what I want to do is show you how those exercises feel when we go through all of them at once, and how quickly we can get through these. We're going to cut the reps down a little bit. But when we're talking about doing these, when we go away from this, you're looking at going through this routine 1 to 3 times for about 8 to 10 reps. That's what we're looking at. You can always increase it to 12 to 15 reps. That's okay, but that will be our starter point. I will also make sure you have your name. If you can take a moment when we finish, I'll leave the session open for a minute. If you can make sure your name's correct so that we can reach out to you. I want to be able to reach out to you and send you the actual workout when we finish. So your name's got to be correct so I can find you. So make sure your name's the same as it is in your membership portal. Okay, ready to go? We're ready. Okay. All right, so remember, if you did, I'm going to be doing mostly the non-chair work. If you remember the chair work, you're gonna be doing the chair work instead. We start with our hip engagement. And my memory's not as good, so if I come up squinting, it's because I'm looking at my little list that I wrote out for myself. Okay, so hands either here or here. If you want a little bit more engagement to start, you can bring them up. We're gonna bring them up. And all we're looking for here is about 10 seconds before we get started, just to find that engagement point. Once you have it, now the hands come down and now we go to work. We rotate, 1, come right over, 2, rotate over, 3. Now try to wait to move that hand until the legs come. I actually made that mistake. 4. So we're just gonna do 6 here. Like I said, we're gonna move through these pretty quickly. 5, last one here. And number 6, good. Let's go ahead and get into our calf stretch, active calf stretch. So if you're doing it from the ground with me, hands are here, 1 foot behind the other. All we're doing is pushing our hips back so we feel that calf stretch, and then push that calf right up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Let's switch the foot. Again, when we push that butt back, we want to make sure the heel almost touches. That's how we get that full calf stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. Very good. All right, inverted hamstring, bird dip, however we want to call it. If you need the balance, I prefer you use the balance with this one than doing all of this if that's going to happen for you, because we really want to work on inverting the hamstring more than we're working on total balance on this one. All right, so hands are out to the side. We're lifting. We can touch the ground. 1, we just want 5, and then we'll switch. 2, 3, and you'll notice I'm trying to get those inhales and the exhales on exertion. 4, when I'm reaching. Here's the inhale, and 5. Let's turn it around. Very good. 3, 2, 1, let's reach it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, excellent job. Next up, we've got our lateral lunge. Okay, so use a chair in front, wall in front, whatever you prefer, or you can do a body weight. Hands either here or here. I prefer them out in front. It's easier to shift the weight with them out in front. Hands are right here. Remember, find that line, step on straight on that line, foot stays forward, just sit the butt back a little bit. 1, good. Straight line. 2, and you can bring the hands in between if you want. 3, it helps me manage that balance back and forth. 4, and number 5. Here we go. We're going to switch to the other side. Stand. 1. And if you ever have access to, my favorite way to do this, if you ever have access to TRX straps or strapping, 3, something that can hold you, another great way to get this one done. 4, you can really sit into it a little bit more. And 5, with that trust that you're not going to fall backwards. Okay, we're back down either to the chair or to the mat. We have planks. Now I'm going to test you folks a little bit here. We're going to try to go for 30 seconds. Go as long as you can. If you have to drop briefly. Try to come back up with me. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and come up. Find that good, solid structure. Good breathing. Pull that belly to spine. Tighten those glutes. Same type of engagement that we did when we were on our back. We're just fighting gravity this time instead of a solid surface. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job on those planks. I know you all nailed it. Nailed it. Okay. We've got our reverse with twist coming up next. Again, if you need balance, take that balance. If not, we're going to start standing, right? We're going to do just the right leg. Let's step back, rotate one, step back, rotate on two, rotate both ways. Good. Remember, if you need to, take a smaller step. 3, 4, step, and 5. Shake those out. Let's get the other side. Step it back, rotate, rotate. 1, got a little aggressive there myself. 2, step it back, rotate, rotate. 3, 4, step back, rotate, rotate. 5. Shake that body out. Okay, we got one more left. Either the reach to squat, or we're going to get that chair out again. If we're going standing, you're right here. You're reaching down to the toes. Little small sit. Try to bring that body upright. 1. Good. We're looking for 5 in total. 2. Reach. Sit. 3. 4. And 5. So we cut the reps down a lot, but we were able to do that in about 7 to 8 minutes. Now, this routine can be used to build on. So over the next couple of months, this class is going to be offered. I believe it's the first Tuesday of every month. What we're going to try to do is slowly build up our foundation. I'm going to send you this workout. My goal for you all that join me here today is try this either 1 to 4 times a week. I would prefer 3. That's going to be my optimal for you. Try this for 2 to 3 rounds of 8 to 10 reps. Continue that for the next 4 weeks. When we come back, the next foundational class, we're going to talk a little bit more about adding some weight and how we can do that with balance, with flexibility. And we'll also talk about some functional fitness. But for now, we started with that foundation, right? The core work, rotation, flexibility. We've got a little coordination in there too, right? We're holding on, but we're working on some coordination. It's how we move better. The goal with this is to get you to move correctly and get you to move a little bit more. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you have, I've got a couple minutes early, so if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, make sure you got your name in there. Make sure we can send you that routine, and I'll also send you what we're looking for over the next 4 weeks. And I hope you join me next month for another Foundations of Fitness. Thanks, everybody. Excellent. So yeah, as I said, I'll give you a minute. If your name's not correct, please make sure it matches. Yeah.
Hey, this is Donna. I got cut out. My internet seemed to have gone out a little bit when you were talking about we submit our name. So you can send us something. What was that?
Yeah, so just make sure the name that you have up on the screen is the same as your membership name, because what we do is when we run our reports, we can match them to your membership name, and that helps us so that we can run that report, and then I can just send this routine to everybody that's on this call.
Yeah, mine is showing as my employee ID. I don't know why.
Is that the same? Is that what you use for your portal account, for your membership account?
No, I have my name in, but every time I do a class, that's what I notice comes up. I don't know why.
Okay, I'll give you, if you want to write this down, we'll do this way too. You can write down my name, which is Ken.Hurin. I think it may show. Oh, hey, it sends me here. Okay, so yeah, if you send your name to Kayla, who's on the call, if you just do a private message and send her your name, she'll make sure she adds your name to the tracker.
What was that?
If you send so Kayla's on this call as well. So if you go into the chat and send your name to Kayla on here, okay, she'll go ahead and record your name and make sure we get you sent out to you.
Okay. All right, I just sent it.
Perfect. All right, thanks, Donna. I appreciate that.
All right, thanks a bunch. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks so much. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining, and we will see you next time.